Hello, I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. In this week's top news for natural gas, number one, in the US, weather models turn colder. Number two, in Europe, the Dutch Tidal Transfer Facility, or TTF, hits a 15-month high. Number three, Malaysian floods are not affecting LNG exports out of Bantaloo. And number four, rest of the world, Trump tariffs go into effect for Canada, Mexico, and China. Let's take a look at the natural gas continuation chart here on tradingview.com. Natural gas prices have gapped up and trading 331, up 26.6 cents or 8.74%. Let's take a look at the now spot March contract. As you can see, prices are trading 331, have gapped up above the daily pivot at 323.90. And this continues to show positive momentum here on the relative strength index, which is now crossed to the upside and from a low base. It means it will be up pushing toward 340 if this weather forecast continues to hold, and then above that toward 359. Let's take a look at the hourly chart on the March contract. As you can see, prices gapped up this morning at 323, just below the pivot at 323.90, and have continued to ebb sideways a little bit right now, currently trading just under 331. This means that prices will continue to hold, and they'll be looking to see if the weather models continue to validate the colder temperatures that are forecast after February the 10th. Let's take a look at the weather. As you can see, that cold Arctic air continues to pool across really most of Russia now. Deep cold Arctic air in eastern Siberia continues to have a pathway across the Arctic and into Canada as well as Greenland. This is giving a glancing blow of colder temperatures as we go through the forecast for the U.S. Great Lakes states and New England and potentially into the mid-Atlantic states. As you can see, the weather continues to pool in eastern Siberia, crossing the Arctic, and then down into Canada, with the forecast now showing late in the 2-week forecast for some colder temperatures to possibly descend as far south as Texas. Let's take a look at the United States. In particular, here we see that the colder air for now is currently contained around the US-Canadian border, with very warm temperatures forecast for the next 5-6 days here in Texas, with Houston reaching near 80 degrees in each of the 6 days. So let's take a look. That cold Arctic air continues to cycle back and forth and tries to make it down into the United States, crossing the Hudson Bay and directly impacting New England and some of the Great Lakes states. Later in the forecast, a little further past about the 17th of February, as you can see, that cold Arctic air is forecast to descend as far south as Texas, but we'll see if this is going to hold in the forecast models. Again, looking at the ice and snow cover, we can see that the Hudson Bay is completely iced over. This is allowing cold Arctic air to literally skate across that body of water and directly descend into the Great Lakes and New England and mid-Atlantic states. We do have some snow cover across the Rockies, again, across the Great Lakes states, and in parts of New England, as well as parts of Appalachia. Turning to Europe, Europe is getting colder. As we looked at the weather last week, we noted that weather was going to come in colder weather this week, and that is again forecast, with prices now over at the TTF, remember, hitting a 15-month high. This cold air is forecast to stay at least through the next 2 weeks. Turning to Asia, pretty much the same. There is still cold Arctic air pooling in Mongolia and parts of Siberia that does keep temperatures quite cool in the Koreas and parts of Japan. Although really outside of Beijing, weather is fairly mild across the eastern provinces of China, with periodic bouts of warmer temperatures, as you can see, close to the 12th, 13th, and 14th. Let's take a look at the weather in detail. The Climate Prediction Center for the next 6 to 10 days is calling for below normal temperatures in the Northwest, with below temperatures moving further south as far as Oklahoma in that 6 to 10-day forecast. And this trend continues in the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook as more cold air comes down into the United States and descends as far south as Texas. But looking at the monthly temperature outlook, which was released at the end of January, the Climate Prediction Center was still calling for above normal temperatures across the southern plains and into Florida and the southeast states. That seasonal temperature outlook continues for both February, March, and April. As you can see, that southern tier and all the way up into New England is expected to remain above normal. So, recapping today, right now, currently natural gas prices are trading at 330 and a half, up 26.1 cents or 8.57%. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.